Hi, I'm Deb on the Traveling Stocking Stitcher. I'm glad you could join me today. I'm here outside for probably one last time before the snow flies in Minnesota because I've got some shiny things that I want to show you. I'm recently back from the Queen City Stitch Retreat, and it was held down in Charlotte, North Carolina, it was an all-Mirabilia themed retreat, and Nora Corbett was the guest designer. And so everything on the brag table was Mirabilia. And so I'm calling this episode the Mira-culous brag table because it really was a sight to behold. It was amazing. And so I've got some things that I'm going to show you that I had on the brag table and things that I worked on before we get to looking at the retreat footage. A full disclosure, I've been doing the social media for the Queen City Stitch Retreat, and so I've been posting on Instagram and Facebook, so if you want to see what's going on at the retreat, you want to follow them. And that gets me a seat at the table, which is fantastic, and some other perks like advance access to the retreat exclusive. And so I've got a jump start on that, and I've got that finished to show you today. This was the retreat exclusive, and hopefully I'm getting it all in the shot here. This is got tons and tons of beads on it. This was designed by Nora Corbett specifically for this retreat, and even though it's a retreat exclusive, you too can stitch it because it is available on the QueenCityStitchRetreat.com website. So go check that out. It's a beautiful design. It's got 4 different colors of beads, and then it's got these dangly things here and a couple of bicones over there, and these cool, let's see if I can hold it up here close, beads, kind of an iridescent leaf bead. I was hoping to fit it in. I'd gotten a frame here, an oval frame that I was hoping to fit it in. Doesn't look like it's going to fit in it. I did a little bit of adjusting. There is lettering under here that says Mirabilia Queen City Stitch Retreat. I moved this over a little bit, but it's still not going to make it in the frame. And across the top here, there's a space to put 2025, and so I was thinking of maybe blinging it up a little. I've got this pretty bead. That might be a little too large for the area. And then I've got a little pink cluster of pearls. That's another option. I might put that in this space here rather than put the 2025. I stitched this on a 28 count, some blue stuff I had in my stash. Like I said, I got this in advance, so I didn't have the retreat fabric. I did buy some retreat fabric from Oak Crown Studios. Amy, Fiber Arts Amy, has a dyeing studio. She's also one of the hosts, along with Maggie, who is Kitschy Whips. And this is what the retreat, the linen version of 28 count fabric would look like. So you got a point of comparison as to what I did and what it looks like. Oops, these guys do not want to stay flat. I'm going to have to figure out a way to get those guys to sit. And the reason I'm not personalizing this is because I had already stitched some things that were personalized. So I did go to the retreat, the Chatelaine retreat that was held also down in Queen City. The same group puts that on, and that was in July. And so I've been stitching really nothing but Chatelaines for all this year. And then when the retreat was over in July, I started thinking, oh, I've only got a few months to get going for the Mirabilia retreat in October. So I took a look and said, I'm not going to be able to do any big, huge, fancy ladies. I've got a number of Mirabilia patterns, but I had to find something I could get on the brag table in time. So I did a couple of things. And first up is, this is like I said, it's on the Mirabilia Designs page. It is called, it's the 6th Mirabilia retreat. I think it was an Australia retreat. And it is kind of a Venetian mask. And I did everything as called for, except for, it said Mirabilia down here, and this says, I changed it to Venezia, the Italian words for Venice. And I think the beads were from Stash. I don't know if I used the called for, but I had a number that were similar to what the called for design is. This is on a 32 count even weave black, and the other thing I think I did was different. I think I did the black mask in number 4 braid Krynic, just to give a little extra sparkle, because I think it was called for 310. So that is that. I had a frame I was hoping would work. It ended up being not the quite right tones for silver, so that one's not finished yet. Plus it's easier to take down at the retreat. And I wanted to, while I was stitching this, I wanted to do a couple of smalls for some folks. And I had the idea that maybe I could just use the mask itself and do a version of those. So what I did is I changed the color a little bit. I did it on black, but I did, because I didn't have the surrounding colors, I did one in silver, and then I alternated gold and silver and clear beads, and I put Queen City Stitch Retreat 2025 up top there, and then here's where I put the Mirabilia. So this is my personalized version, my reminder of the retreat. And then I've got just a backing on here. I did have to do a couple of modifications. I couldn't put all the beads way down here because I wanted this to be a square. On 28 count, it's about 3.5. I did another set on 32 count. I think these are the 32 count ones. They're about 3 inches. The other ones were about 3.5. And then I used the number 4 braid for both the mask and also the lettering. Then I just kind of made up the lettering up above here and used the Mirabilia. And here's a gold version as well. Same thing, I just alternated the opposite color, but it's number 4 braid on this one as well. So there's the two. They both have the same backs, and there they are. I did try to do a couple things. I was going to try a blue and a red mask, and so I did a little prototype here, and the blue is not showing up real good on the black. I thought even when I put the beads around it, maybe it would show it up a little bit more. That wasn't quite doing the trick. And then I thought, you know, if I do gold, maybe around here and underneath the mask as well, it might help it along. It just ended up looking like one of those, you know, lucha libre Mexican wrestler masks. So kind of abandoned this. So, but the silver and gold ones, I'm really glad how those turned out. And last year at the Queen City Stitch Retreat, it was Autumn Lane Stitchery that was the guest designer, and the brag table was open to any designer things that you wanted to do. And somebody brought a mermaid that was done by Bella Filipina, and it was Erin Clow, and she was actually at the retreat this year too, and I didn't make the connection that she was the one that gave me the idea for this. And it is, she did the Bella Filipina, and she put it in a porthole that she'd gotten from, it actually says Carnival Cruise on it, and there was apparently a long story about it. Hopefully the ship didn't sink because she tore it off the wall. I think it was a prop. I don't think it was a real one. So, but I was out at a garage sale and happened to see a frame that was shaped like a porthole. And I don't know that it would have clicked had I not seen that, but it was like, I mean, instantly I said, I know what I'm going to do with that. And so I went looking at the Mirabilia designs to see if I could find a mermaid. Now, again, a lot of big, huge ones, but I was able to find another freebie that was just the right size. I did had to make it smaller. I had to do it on a 25 count to fit it into a 6-inch wide porthole. And this is the Mia Mermaid that is also, like I say, a freebie. Get in there. And I found this porthole. Like I said, it's a little grubby, but I'm afraid to do the polishing up. I'm afraid I'll take the patina off. I think it's kind of made to look like that with barnacles and everything, so it's a little bit rustic. So I did have to make a few changes because it is on the 25 count. I think technically to be a real mini Mira, you have to make them 28 count or less. There's some people who do them on 40 count, but I think they do them over 2. But I had some 25 count. This is Alaska Blue. It's an even weave, I believe, and I just had to make some changes because I couldn't use beads because they would not fit. And then I just had, I don't even know what the name of it was, some thread that wasn't labeled. But that turned out pretty good with the, get close here, with what is the pearl looking beads. And then I had some Renaissance design floss that is really pretty. There's a dolphin blue, and I'm not sure if they make that floss anymore, but it's really pretty. And then I did some of the same thing up here. I'll put it down in the notes below what I used. But fun to do. Did it in little bits at a time because, again, you want to make sure you're doing it right. But I wanted a round version. The freebie does have, across the top it says Mirabilia and then Australia across the bottom. And Charlotte in Australia has the same number of letters, so I thought I was maybe going to put that on there. And it turned out that the letters in Charlotte are chunky and the letters in Mirabilia are skinny. and so it wouldn't have lined up correctly, plus it would have squared it off, and I really wanted her to be round, and this was just the perfect design to fit in here, so really loving that. Next I have Leilani Hula Girl. This is another freebie that I did. I did this actually a few years ago. I did a video about Hawaii, and this is one of the pieces that I stitched for it. It is on a 14 count printed fabric. It's not available anymore. I think it was a Russian fabric, and it was slightly just not very long before the war, and now it's not available. It's harisisart.co.uk is the site I got it from. And very pretty fabric. I had to change some of the colors to make it go a little bit better, but because it's printed, you can see some of the edges. It's not going to show if I put it in an 11 by 14 frame. So I'm trying to figure out how to use this ribbon to put it around there and not make the edges show. So if anybody's got any great ideas about how to attach that and make it look good. I have some fabric stiffener that I thought maybe I would try doing and seeing if that makes it a little easier to handle, because right now like you see, the ribbon is kind of floppy. So oh, and then up in the North Shore of Hawaii they have a sign that has this kind of font, so I tried to recreate that. So this is Leilani Hula Girl. I finished up all my Mirabilia brag table stuff with about 2 weeks to spare, and we were on a Zoom, the last Zoom before the retreat. We get together once a month and people get to know each other a little bit, and somebody mentioned the Mirabilia peacock. It's an all-white peacock. It's got some blues and some greens in it. And I was sitting there with some fabric literally next to me, and that I thought would be perfect for this. I had bought it from Garibaldi Needleworks, and I was looking for a very dark blue purple. I'd seen somebody had done it on Facebook for Marrakesh Nights at Chatelaine, and they said they had hand dyed it and they were in China, so no luck there. So I found this. I've been searching for a while, and when I got it, I don't know that I was paying that much attention. You know, if you order on Etsy, you don't get to see that they have different versions. You see the one type of fabric, but they do have a linen, and I think I may reorder. But when I stitched on it, this is on Monaco, and so the weave was out of whack, so I stitched the first square for the center of the mandala, and it ended up being rectangular, just even the first 2 by 2 square. It was visibly a rectangle, and so I thought that's not going to scale well. Mandala is going to look out of proportion, so I'm going to have to use it for something else. And so they do offer it in a linen. The dark belladonna is the name of it, and it's pretty fabric, but couldn't use it for my Mirabilia or for my chatelaine. So while I was sitting there, I thought a white peacock would look fabulous on this. And I also have been, I like to stitch things that remind me of places I visited. And a couple years ago, we went to Prague, and I haven't found a chart that I like for Prague yet. And we went on a walking tour and went into the Wallenstein Gardens, which is the palace, is where the Senate for the Czech Republic meets, and they had this white peacock, all white peacock. It was beautiful walking around. And so I thought, oh, that kind of ticks 2 boxes. I can use the fabric and I can do a Prague design. So this is the white peacock, and I've made some changes on this one as well. So like I said, I want it to be really all white, because the one peacock we saw was white. Looked online, and there are peacocks that have a little bit of blue in the eyes, but there's some that are pure white, and they have almost some fluffy things in the center. So what I did is I used 000, the white, which is the called for. I did the shading, I did 3747, which was kind of a purpley gray, very subtle light color. And then I did use the white DMC Etoile, the Moulin, I think it's called, and that's pretty easy to stitch with. And I filled in some of that. It's barely noticeable. Maybe you can see it a little bit in the sun. And then I started playing around with the centers. I'd used a dark blue. I think this is 791. This is 791 DMC down here. This, I think, is Gloriana 023 Velvet Night Sky. I have a ton of that because that's called for a lot in chatelaines. And I wasn't really thinking that was looking great. I had this almost like a whisper I'll put it down below. So I think I tried it in the middle and I tried it underneath the eye. I think I'll use maybe this under the eye where there's kind of the almost a fringe. And then I tried some, I think this is number 4 Krynic that I put in one of them, and I think that's what I'm going to go with. So that is where the peacock is. And one more Mirabilia. This was a piece that I thought I would work on. I've been doing this for a couple of years now and not making a ton of progress, so I thought I'd bring it to the retreat. I ended up working mostly on the retreat piece. And actually not doing much stitching. I tried to make it around to every table and at least chat up some folks. There wasn't always people at every table all the time, so I don't know if I made them all, but I got close to, the 24 tables, I think I got to at least 22. So that was fun. I was going to try to stitch at every table, and I made 3 of those by noon the first day, first full day, so I thought I'm going to have to just stand up and chat with people. So this is White Christmas. Sorry I didn't iron it. I just forgot about it right before I came out here, so it's hard to tell. This is going to start to be the windows up here. She still doesn't have a head or any distinguishing characteristics, but that will be White Christmas. The dress is coming along a bit. This is on 32 count pistachio, I think, from Picture This Plus. And just a couple of quick stitchy things that I got from people at the retreat. Amy, Fiber Arts Amy, she made this cute little pincushion, Christmas themed pincushion. It's very lovely. And my good friend Paula Wilson, who is stitching in high heels. Be sure to check out Paula's channel because she's got a great floss tube. And she made this beautiful biscornu. And it's got these pretty beads around the edges, and it's got QCSR, Queen City Stitch Retreat, and this lovely cameo in the middle, and a button in the back. So, and this cute little butterfly at the end. So, but thank you very much, Paula. I love it. All right, so next up, I am going to show you that Mira-culous brag table. It really is a sight to behold. And here it is, the Queen City Stitch Retreat, all Mirabilia, all Nora Corbett brag table. There were over 200 items on this table, and this is just a quick sampling of some of the things that you will see, and I'll go into detail. First up, I will show you the official retreat exclusive. This was done by Amy, who is Fiber Arts Amy, and she is one of the hosts, as I mentioned, and this is with all the called for. So this was done with the 28 count Antoinette linen from Caron Studios, and in this beautiful bubble glass, which was tricky to photograph. I actually have a mix here of still shots that showed truer color of the fabric, and then video which tended to show the sparkle. So I'll be interspersing depending on which photo showed things off the best. And there were 3 different versions of this on the brag table to look at. Everybody did their own little twist. So members of the team, we already looked at Amy's. This was done by Maggie, who is Kitty Whips, the other co-host of the retreat. And she did a skin conversion on hers and did this lovely finish. And this is a blue color conversion by Catherine, who is Needleberry Stitcher. And we'll take just a little closer look at what Maggie did with hers and the frame. I know, did the finish on the frame with some turquoise and gold, and then did this lovely satin ruching around the side and some trim and brooches. And here's a little closer look at Catherine's too. Next we have Miss Cherry Blossom. This was done by Christina Morelos. She is xteeny101 on Instagram and xtina Morales on Flosstube. And another one by Christina Morelos is Leilani the Hula Dancer. This is a freebie. It's a beautiful fabric and lovely, lovely frame on it. And this is my version of Leilani. I filled in the skirt because it was going to show through the fabric. There's usually holes between the lines in the skirt. And then I changed the colors of the beads to make them a little more harmonious with the background color, and I added the North Shore text in the corner. This is the 6th annual Mirabilia Retreat freebie mask that I showed you that I did. And we'll get you a little closer look here. And like I said, didn't make a whole lot of modifications except added the number 4 braid to the mask in the middle. And then these are the pillows that I did, a variation of that, using the silver Krynic number 4 braid and alternating the beads. And this is the gold version. And here's the front and the back together, and back in the front of the other one. We'll get you a closer look here at Mia Mermaid. This is the freebie that I made and put in a porthole. It's on Alaskan Blue Lugana, 25 count, 1/1. And this is from the Australia retreat in 2017. And it is available on the Mirabilia website under free graphs. I will put the conversion information in the description box below if you want to know what things I subbed out on it. This is Halloween Fairy. This was done by Kim Robinson. She used the kit fabric. She's got 2 Instagrams, Kim Robinson Sew Fancy Things and Love on a Needle, and her floss tube is also called Love on a Needle. Here's another one of the Halloween Fairy. This one was done by Gina Williams, and Gina goes by BearCrafts719 on Instagram. B-A-I, that's B-E-A-R Crafts 719. And Gina did Electra on this wonderful 32 count fabric. This beautiful oval frame stand holds Sunflower Fairy, and this was by Kim Robinson as well with the kit fabric that she used. Tawny Arnold did this Charlotte version, and she did a conversion on it. Charlotte was a stitch along, both in 2023 and we continued it in 2025. And this is on 32 count petit point. It's a gray and white Zweigert fabric. And she doesn't have an Instagram or a floss tube, but she did put the conversion on the Mirabilia Full Conversions Facebook group. Here we have Winter White Santa. This was done by Veronica Dancer, and she thought it was done on Fabrics by Stephanie. And Veronica's Instagram is vdancer0304, and she has a floss tube called Veronica X Stitch. This is from the Pixie Blossom collection, and this was Marigold, done by Lillian Goodman on a 32 white crystal fabric. And her Instagram is Redhead Needles and Thread. And this is one I know that a lot of people were hoping to see here. This is Queen of Freedom, and it was also done by Veronica Dancer, and it is out of print. and as you probably well know, it fetches quite the price on secondary market. So I will take some time and let you take a look at this. The framing is really incredible. It's got the stripes and stars around it, and she did it on fabric from Fabric Flare. It's got the We the People wording in the background there. And we have another Halloween fairy. This is from Nora Corbett's line, the Fairy Halloween Collection. And this was done by Jill Flincham using the kit fabric. Jill's Instagram handle is VA Stitcher. And this is Cinderella. This was done by April Bishop. We had a few stargazers that were on the brag table, each one of them beautiful in their own way, and you can see the differences in what a fabric makes. And this one was done by Veronica Dancer. We saw some work by her before, and she thought this was Picture This Plus. It was a challenge to shoot around some of the reflection on the glass in some of the pieces that were framed, so I'll try a couple of different angles to get you the best view as possible. And also for the video portions, I had trouble keeping myself from casting a shadow over the work because I had to bend in close over it to capture the detail. At least when I took photos, I could get out of my own way, and so you'll see a contrast in some of the lighting on the different shots between video and photos. This is Bumblebee by Marianne Addy. She is LA Daisy 63 on Instagram. This was done on Silk Weaver French Vanilla Swirl, and this is a freebie piece that's available for you to stitch. Marianne also stitched the 2018 Australian Dragonfly that was a retreat exclusive in Australia. It is another freebie on the Mirabilia website, and this one's on a 32 count Belfast linen. It's called Medusa's Gaze from Lapin Loops. And this is a really creative one. This was done by Paula Hinderleder. She took this fantastic fabric that's from Fabric Flair. It's called Storytime Steps. And she put on a variety of the Nora Corbett mushrooms. She did Miss Pink Mushroom that's up at the top there, and Miss Forest Mushroom, the one on the left with the red dress, and Miss Yellow Mushroom down on the right side. And then she interspersed it. You see different mushrooms throughout there. She stitched on some mushrooms from Arranging Mushrooms from ink circles in it as well. So that was really a fantastic combination of things that she did. She is on Instagram at Paula H964. And here you can see one of those mushrooms that she stitched from the sampler from Ink Circles. And I also got some video of it, and hopefully you can capture the scale of this. This thing had to be at least 3 feet long on this printed fabric, and it just turned out great. And here you can see a couple more of those mushrooms on either side of her leg. This is Raven Queen, and this was done by Ashley Young, and it is on a 32 count Merlot Opal by Bestitch Me, which is a beautiful choice. I was going to start this one at a retreat myself, but have been waiting for fabric. I'm also thinking about doing a conversion in either purple or gold that I've seen. And you see that she's got Nora's signature on there. She was signing pieces for people. We all had a meet and greet opportunity to go out and meet Nora, and you could have up to 2 pieces signed. So some people chose to have their chart signed, or some people chose to have their actual stitching signed. We'll see a number of those on the brag table here. Now this one is Violet. This was done by Marianne Addy. It was done on a 32 count dovetail by Forbidden Fiber Co. There was a few of these on the table, and this is an out of print one as well. And so it was nice to be able to see some of these in person, since you can't get your hands on this anymore. Here we have Trick or Treat Fairy. This was done by Julie Johnson, and it is on a Weeks dye work called Peoria Purple, and she really pops out on that color. Seems like everything Halloween works on a purple color, because I'm not a Halloween stitcher, but every time I see something on purple done, I think, oh, maybe I should stitch that. This is the Feather Fairy, and I just love the blues in those feathers. They really are almost iridescent. And this is by Carmen Delaney. It's a 32 count raw natural Edinburgh linen. And Carmen's Instagram handle is Carmen Fit and Stitch. This is also by Carmen Delaney. This one is called the Petal Fairy, and it's using the called for 32 count natural linen. Next we have a number of pieces that were done by Katie Tenike. This one happens to be Deepest Love, one of the mermaids. Katie has an Instagram called Kate Nike. It's Kateneyck, and she does just meticulous stitching. She look at the over one skin that she does, and it almost looks like paintings, the things that she has done. This next one is Deco Spirits, also done by Katie Tenike, and it's got a lovely Art Deco images for the different elements. So first of all, we have Earth, and a lot of Kreinik. I don't think that there are any beads that I saw in this. Maybe just a handful of beads, but a lot of very shiny Kreinik, obviously. This one is Fire. This one is Air. And then we have Water. This is Goddess Garden by Katie Tenike as well, and she has done some conversion on this as well. You see that the draping flowers that are coming down there, she has done, look at all those French knots. The called for is beads, but she's done a lot of French knots. I mean, like a lot of French knots, and it looks amazing. Usually people go the other way, they put beads on instead of French knots, but it really works. And then the water coming out of this fountain just looks amazing. It actually looks like there's motion, the way this is designed. And at the base of the statues, you can see that she's chosen to do like a horizontal satin stitch, and it really does make it look like reflection of water. The called for is just stitching, but this was a great choice by Katie to do a little bit different stitch. And this one will amaze you. This is a mashup, and this is the kiss, at least the body, and then the head is the Renaissance mermaid. And the kiss has a man in it, and it's got the flowers on either side, and here's a side-by-side comparison of the two. Now, Katie does have this conversion in the Mirabilia Nora Corbett full conversion Facebook group. So if you go into the Files tab, and you can see what she did. She's documented a number of the conversions she's done, so you can get access to those if this is something you want to try yourself. And even these beads, it's the large beads, I think she made a different choice on these because they really stand out on this piece and it captures your eye. I know she did some work on the planters on either side as well to move them around, and I think she widened the piece. Now, if you look at this one and you say, I can't quite place which design that is, that's because Katie has worked her magic on this one again. She's completely designed the head and the face and the hair. She's done a skin conversion on it. This is Aphrodite. This is also available in the Mirabilia Nora Corbett full conversion files, and Katie does a meticulous job not only of her stitching but also of her documenting. She does have her own company called Sosna Designs. That's Sosna, and she's created some designs of her own. In fact, she did the piece that was used as the Chatelaine Weekend Queen City Stitch retreat exclusive because Martina Rosenberg is no longer with us. So she created a beautiful piece that fits right in with the Chatelaine portfolio. In fact, they've even made that kit available in the European Cross Stitch Company where you can purchase it. And I've inserted a side-by-side comparison so you can see what the original design looks like and what Katie's looks like. And then we also have a close-up of the head so you can compare what the original head looks like versus the one Katie designed. And this is just another incredible piece. I mean, the design of this one by Nora is stunning, and Katie has done a dark jewel tone color conversion. This is Botanical Garden, and it's so lifelike. It's so incredible. It looks like a portrait painting or a photograph almost. And so the skin and hair color she did not change on it, but she did change the color of the flowers, which was inspired by her garden. And in her documentation, Katie provides the reason that she was inspired to do the conversion. In this one, she actually referenced Nora's own artwork, and she has portraits that have dramatic colors and bold contrast between light and dark. And Nora has an Instagram account that shows some of the things that Katie looked at to come up with this conversion. This is The Baker's Wife, and Katie did a African American color conversion on this one. It's on a 32 count country French rain linen from Witchelt. And the conversion's available in the Facebook group that I mentioned earlier. And this is another African American color conversion by Katie. This is Princess Ileana. And her notes say that this was her first COVID-19 stitch during quarantine, and she hadn't stitched in 5 years prior to that. So this is the one that brought her out of hibernation because of the beautiful colors on it. And she was also inspired by the Black Lives Matters protests that were taking place at that time, which is what encouraged her to do the African American skin conversion. And as a point of comparison, we've got two Princess Ileanas that happen to be on the rag table next to each other, so I can show you the difference between what the two look like. Katie is on the bottom, and on the top is Brenda Kendrick's version. Just different versions, both beautiful, and just the difference in fabric and the difference in skin color. And it's fun to look at them side by side to see what you can do to personalize them, make them your own, and what a difference fabric choice can make. Brenda did hers on a 32 count under the Seas fabric. Next up we have Royal Games, and this is the playing card one. This is by Paige Long, and she did this on a 32 count vanilla latte from Bestitch Me. Paige's Instagram account is HPGirl4Life. I'll spell that for you. It's HPGIRL, the number 4, LYFE. Now this is actually Royal Games 1. There's a second version, but this one has the Queen of Hearts and the Queen of Spades, top and bottom. The Royal Games 2 has the clubs and the diamonds queen. And next up we have Queen Bee by Allie Elkin. She is Allie Z is Crafty on Instagram and also on Flosstube. And it's ALLIZ is Crafty. And she did this one on just a fantastic fabric. It's Dark Gilded by Mystic Fabrics. And boy, this one just pops right out at you. It's really a beautiful piece. At the end of this clip, I'll insert a photograph that shows the fabric off even better because you don't have my shadow overhanging and blotting out some of the vibrancy of the color. And I believe Allie said that when she was talking to Nora about this design, that Nora said she hadn't originally intended to have the canopy overhead. It was just the queen bee. And boy, this is such a fabulous addition. It's got the honeycomb and the bees on it, and just a great detail. It really elevates this particular piece and complements it so well. And Allie not only stitched it, but she also got the original artwork from Nora. And so she's got those both on the table here that you can see side by side, and it really is incredible. Nora did bring some of her original artwork into the retreat for us to look at, and she also had it available for sale. So it is a lovely companion to have the original artwork framed and mounted right next to your piece to show the inspiration and the follow through on the stitching. If you want to see some of that artwork, it is included in the video that's on this channel. That is the Q&A session that was done with Nora Corbett at the retreat. And here you can see that true color of the fabric. And here we have Madonna of the Garden. This was done by Julie Johnson. And this is done on a fabric called Andrew from Grace Notes Fabrics. This is a fairly early one. This is number 79 in the Mirabilia collection, and this one is out of print. And one of the great things about going to a retreat is they had a raffle table, and they had one of these available that you could win in the raffle. Next we have Lady Imperial D. This was done by Maggie, and she of course is Kitschy Whips both on Instagram and on Flosstube. Here's another great mashup. This one is by Maggie, and she put together Witching Hour and Spellbound. A couple of witches just hanging out, drinking and reading. This one is on a fabric called Vampiric, and it's from Under the Seas Fabrics. We had a few different versions of the 2023 retreat exclusive that Nora had created for that retreat. That was the first Queen City Stitch retreat. It was the first retreat that had Nora at it. And so this is what she designed. It is free and available on the Queen City Stitch Retreat website. This particular version was stitched and finished by Maggie Kitchewhips. And Maggie also created the skin conversion. She does actually have a real needle in her hand. Next we have a series that were done by Mindy Daigle. They were all wrapped in plastic because Mindy was a vendor at the retreat and she sells Mira's and Nora's, and so she has to keep her stuff protected, so she had hers all encased in plastic. So, but you can see the lovely work. This one is Anna, one of the pixies. And this one is Bella Butterfly, also was done by Mindy. And Mindy doesn't have a website, but she does sell Mira's and Nora's and their supplies. The best way to contact her is through Facebook Messenger. And she also does listings for sale in the Mira Nora embellishments buy sell trade group on Facebook if you're interested. And that's Mindy Daigle, Daigle. And here is Andromeda by Mindy. And this one is Florentina, also by Mindy. Florentina was well represented on the brag table. We had 3 of them, so if you're thinking about doing her and don't know what fabric to use, you've got some options to take a look at. They're all great. Surprisingly, there weren't as many duplicates as I thought there might be, because Nora just released her 200th Mirabilia, Lady M, and she's got 140 Nora Corbetts. That's almost 350 designs that she has out there when you add her Patreon and everything else in. With such an incredible body of work, it's actually surprising that there were more than one duplicate on anything. Here is Mindy's version of Pretty in Pink. And Mindy's shop was extremely busy all weekend long. She had some stitch pieces up on her table that I would try to get a picture of, and there were just constantly people looking at it through bins and bins and bins of the patterns, and she had some embellishment packs, and she just, I don't think she got to stitch more than 2 stitches all weekend because she was nonstop. So I'll have another collection of the ones that I finally got to take a picture of later in the video. Another perk of retreats are you can buy patterns. She had a discount and you don't have to pay for shipping, so it works out for everybody. Not to mention the immediate gratification and the enabling that you can start stitching it immediately upon seeing somebody else having stitched it. Speaking of which, this is one that I'd never considered stitching before till I saw it stitched in person. And this one is Miss New Year's Fairy. I am a New Year's Eve baby, so it would be kind of appropriate for me to stitch this one. And it's very sparkly for as small as it is. It's got a lot of sparkle. And one last brag table contribution from Mindy. This is the Witching Hour. We saw a version from Maggie where she'd put 2 together, and this is just the individual witch from the Witching Hour. And once again proving the point that any Halloween thing looks fabulous on purple and requires stitching immediately. Here we have an adorable piece called Winter Hair, and this was done by Karina Ott. Here's another version of Violet. This one was done by Julie Johnson, and she did it on 28 count. It's hand dyed by Rolanda, and it appears to be on an opalescent. And boy, there were a lot of opalescents used, and to great effect. They looked fantastic. I bought a bunch of opalescent as a result of looking at this brag table. Here we have a batch from Paula Wilson, who is stitching in high heels both on Instagram and on Flosstube. It's stitching.in.high.heels on Instagram. And Paula brought several beautiful pieces to the brag table. And this is just one of them. The roses that she did there, she did ribbon work on those, and they just turned out fabulous. Um, Very nice job that she did on this one. And this is Miss Dancing Flower. And Paula is the one who gave me the fantastic biscornu that I showed earlier on in the video. It was done on a 20 count orchid from Oak Crown Studios. This still photograph does a better job of showing off the fantastic fabric. Here we have Snapdragon. This is on a 28 count Lugana, and this was also done by Paula. And here is Paula's Poppy, which is also an out of print one, and this was done on a 32 count Sterling Belfast from Picture This Plus. Paula did Inkberry Holly, and this is on 25 count Stormy Clouds. This is part of the Pixie Blossom collection. Here we have Garden Verses. This was done by Paula on 32 count Mushroom Lugana. This one is a very early one. This is only the fourth Mirabilia, and this one is out of print as well. And some lucky raffle winner was able to take one home from the retreat because this was available as well as a raffle offering. We're going to put information up about the raffle itself, what was given away, what the proceeds went to. We'll have that all on the Facebook group for the Queen City Retreat Stitchers. Here is Queen Mermaid, another out of print. We saw a few of these on the table as well. This one is Paula's. She did this one on a 32 count Waterlily Jobelin. And as a companion to Queen Mermaid, this one is Deepest Love that Paula did on the same fabric, the 32 count Waterlily Jobelin, and this design is also out of print. Thank you to Paula for bringing in such a lovely collection, especially the out of print ones. You don't have an opportunity to see those very much and to see them stitched, so this is a great opportunity to see those in person, or the next best thing, looking at a video of them. And here is the still shot that gives you a better view of that fabric and how that looks. Here we have Shakespeare's Fairies. This was done on a 16 count Mystic fabric by Denise Fu, and she is perfect_little_stitches on Instagram. And this particular one is one that Nora talked about in her Q&A session. And this is another one of the hottest items on the secondary market. This is Lady of the Flag, and she is also out of print. And this is done by Gina Williams. She did it on a 36 count linen. It's got this beautiful matte border with the red and white and blue stripes. And we'll just take a look here at just the detailing, and the beading is incredible. And I mentioned Gina's Instagram before. It's bearcrafts719. And you probably want to make sure you give her a follow now, because you'll want to take a look at what she's got out there on this beautiful piece. The beads on the torch, and the beads around her head, and then the tiara, and then just how the beads were done, even on the stars and the flag. You would think it would be hard to communicate the image of a star, especially on a folded flag, with just a few beads, and yet a combination of the white and some silver really, really translates. And this one was also done by Gina Williams. This is the Christmas Elf Fairy, and it was done on a blush 36 count Weeks Dye Works linen. And this is just another stunning piece. This one is Portrait of Veronica, and this was stitched by Debbie Lingwood. She is Owl and Gator on Instagram, and her floss tube is called Owl and Gator Stitcher. It was done on a 32 count linen called Star Sapphire from Wisholt. We'll take a look on the video here of this incredible beading that is on here, and this dress that goes on for days. I love that ring detail on her hand, and just a beautiful dress, and the colors go so well in the blending and the shading. It's just such an elegant piece. This is one I have the chart for. I haven't started it yet, but sure makes you want to get it out. Here is a great piece called Camille in Bloom. This was done by Marianne Eck. It was done on a 28 count Lugana, and it's a brilliant finish. She did it as a pillow. I regret that it didn't even occur to me to turn the pillow over and take a picture of it. I guess I was just blinded by this incredible blingy border that she put around here. That didn't even occur to me to look at what the back looked like. I suspect that this may be a conversion as well, because the colors seem brighter than what I've seen online. I'm not familiar with all of the Mirabilia patterns. Like I mentioned, there's so many, but I wish I knew more. And I wish I had anecdotes about every one of these pieces. Unfortunately, I only got to talk to some people about their pieces, and so what I learned I will share, but I'm sure there's stories behind all of these. Maybe some of these have conversions that I'm not aware of either. And this is a Frida Kahlo inspired mermaid, and this is from Nora Corbett's Patreon. This one was stitched by Maggie, and it's on fish food That's the name of the fabric, by Caron Studios. And it's a very beautiful piece. Somewhat reminiscent of the botanical gardens one we looked at earlier, on a smaller scale, but as a mermaid and as a historical figure, so it really ticks every box you possibly could hope for. And we'll follow up with another Maggie piece, who is Kitschy Whips. This is Blossom Party Mask, and this is from Nora's Patreon. And Maggie believed this was from primitive hair fabric, perhaps? And another one by Maggie. This is Miss Honeybee, and she did it on this fabulous printed fabric with the beehives and the honeycomb. This is from Primitive Hair, the fabric is. And it's a 30 count linen called Prim Bee. And so we'll get you a good look at the fabric. And then we'll move over to the video so we can see the sparkle showing up a little bit better with the play of the light. And we had a couple of June bugs, and this was by design. One was actually finished at the retreat. The first one was done and fully finished by Maggie prior to the retreat. And you're looking at it here. It is on a 28 count linen. It's called Vivace, and it's from Grace Notes fabric. It's a beautiful piece of fabric. So Maggie cut it in half and gave it to Allie. And so Allie Z was able to stitch one up and have it look just like Maggie's. This is Allie. She was able to ring the bell, which is another fun thing you get to do at retreats to celebrate anything that you've accomplished, whether it's showing up, whether it's finishing a piece, whether it's finishing some Kreinik or beading or whatever it might be. So here's the video of Allie's retreat finish. And I do apologize if I missed anybody's, because things were being put on the brag table when they finished them, and I might have missed them, so my apologies if yours didn't make it on here. And this one is by Maggie. This is Bluebell, and this one, unfortunately, is also out of print. It's a beautiful piece, and Maggie did a great conversion. I love the little beads on her feet, the dainty little shoes. But yeah, this is a lovely finish that she had done on Bluebell. This is another one by Maggie. This one is called Day Nymph, and it is on the called for 32 count Star Sapphire linen. And it's got another one of Maggie's excellent conversions to the skin. And we have one more witching hour. This one is Marianne Addy's version, and she did it on a 36 count Atomic Ranch Vapors. And just a reminder, her Instagram is LADaisy63. And this is a geranium finish. I think I mentioned that geranium was chosen as one of the stitch-alongs for the retreat, so we would expect to see a lot of those. As a matter of fact, a number of people were stitching this one. This one happened to make it onto the brag table, and this is by Sarah Gilliam Kincaid. And next up, we have a great collection by Cassandra Houston. Cassandra is the wife of Aaron Houston, who is the artist that does Autumn Lane Stitchery, and Cassandra runs the business operation for that design. And they were at the Queen City Stitch Retreat as the guest designers uh, in 2024, and wonderful people. So this is an out-of-print version that she has of Adia, the garden fairy, and this is on Pole Stitches fabric. And Instagram for Autumn Lane Stitchery is Autumn Lane Stitchery, and Cassandra's personal Instagram is Cassandra, and then looks like there's maybe 2 or 3 underscores followed by Houston. So Cassandra underscore underscore Houston. And they also do a floss tube occasionally. I think it's a little while, but both she and Aaron do a floss tube together, and it's a great amount of fun. So I would check them out, even if it's an old version. You'll have fun. And Cassandra has also done Trick or Treat Fairy. She's done this on brown fabric. I know I said I loved it on purple, but brown looks amazing too. And she's embellished it a little bit. She's got a couple of buttons on here that she added down in the cobweb. I think she's got a little spider button. And then over on the right, another little spider button, and right next to it, a cat that looks like it's petrified of the spider that's right next to it. Gardenia Spring Garden Pixie is also done by Cassandra Houston. Cassandra also did Buttercup on this amazing fabric. I'm not sure what it is, but it really works out well. Brings out the colors with the yellow. And this is part of the Pixie Blossom collection from Nora Corbett. Cassandra's Queen Mermaid, and she said this one was done on Picture This Plus fabric.
And this is also Cassandra's, and this is Andromeda. She did this on what she labeled as Steph's Fabrics, so I'm not sure if that's Fabrics by Stephanie or Steph's Fabrics by the Sea in Australia. There's a couple of Stephanies that sell fabric. This is a beautiful color. You can see the greens and the purples, and it just really works well for this design. So whoever did this dyeing, hats off to you. And then lovely design that Nora came up with the sparkling beads on the crest of the waves. It really, again, mimics motion so well. And next up, this one is Eva, and this was by Catherine Dowes. And Eva is part of the Nora Corbett Bewitching Pixies collection. And Amanda Monroe did this outstanding piece. This is the Queen City Stitch Retreat exclusive from 2023, but she not only changed the colors, but she put this incredible seascape inside the dress. It does look like a theater curtain, I think was the thinking behind it. So she put in this lighthouse on a little island and a boat. And if you look closely, you can even see the riggings on the boat. This was done in a 28 count antique white. This is Rogue Dragon, and this one's done by Amy, Fiber Arts Amy. And she did this on Swirling Tide, which is Oak Crown Studios fabric, her own dyeing company's fabric. And every year for the treat, Amy makes a pin cushion that we use to hold the pins that we use to attach the labels onto our brag table items. And this one she did is gorgeous. It's Bella Rose is the design. And once again, I forgot to turn this over, but Amy just showed this in video number 49 on her Flosstube. It's got cute little scissors and sewing notions on the fabric. Amy did this lovely piece too. This is called Garden Beauty, and it is on an old Silk Weaver Solo fabric. And this is May's Emerald Fairy done by Amy, and it's on a sugar maple fabric. This is Enchanted Dreamer, and this was stitched by Amy, and this is an out-of-print design as well. And this one is another of the 2023 Queen City Stitch Retreat exclusives that Nora designed. We saw one earlier. This one was done by Julie Iannata. And I love this detail. She put 2025 on the hoop, and it's got 2023 on the skirt. So she's been to both retreats, and what a great idea to commemorate both of them in one piece. And it is on this beautiful fabric. It's a 32 count smooth crimsonal by Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers. And I should mention that Julie is YouTube Stitcher on Instagram. Now this is Renaissance Mermaid done by Maggie, and she talked about this was her first Mirabilia experience, and she talked about that when she did the Q&A with Nora Corbett. You can see that on the video. She tells about how she never anticipated ever stitching a fancy lady, and now here she is throwing a retreat. This is a conversion done of Portrait of Antique Vines by Julie Ionata on 32 count Lavender Bliss linen, and this came from the 25th anniversary celebration booklet of Mirabilia. Here's another amazing one. This is Blackbird by Julie Ionata, and it's on a 32 count opalescent Hamlet from Under the Sea Fabrics, and it's really beautiful. And if you're not following YouTube Stitcher on Instagram, you're missing out, so go do that right now. I feel really bad about this one. This is Sea Merchant's Wife by Julie Ionata. It is on a stunning 32 count Midnight Mermaid from Under the Sea Fabrics. And there were so many things heaped up on the table. This one got kind of covered over things, and I meant to come back to it, and I didn't. So this is as good as I could find to pick out of the footage between other pieces that I could put together here. So, like I said, go over, subscribe to her Instagram feed, and you will not regret it. This is Tiger Lily, also by Julie, and it's done on a 32 count Monster Mash from Picture This Plus Fabrics. This is one that Nora also mentioned during her Q&A, that she designed it when she was feeling very down and out, so it's got a special place in her heart for her. And it is out of print. Here we have South Atlantic Mermaid, done by Julie. This is on a 28 count opalescent mermaid grotto by Fiberlicious by Yummy Fiber. And she also did the North Atlantic Mermaid on the same fabric. And she also did Indian Ocean Mermaid. This one was done on a 32 count Mermaid's Grotto, and these three are all part of the Seven Seas Mermaid collection. And I believe this is Julie's also. This is Mermaid Perfume. I'm not sure who did this one. It was near Julie's stuff, so it might be hers. This is one of the Royal Games charts that is a playing card. This is the Queen of Hearts, and they did the Queen of Hearts on both sides, so it looks like a regular card. The design really has one suit at the top and one suit at the bottom. Here we have another Stargazer, and this one is by Andrea Walczak, and it's on this amazing printed fabric. It's a 32 count Magic Sky fabric from Fabric Flare, and it is just, it's out of this world because it kind of looks like it's stars. Something I just noticed as I was doing this voiceover is she put her initials and the year that she did it in beads, which is a great idea, especially with this design, because it's so star-filled and galaxy-like. Here's another one by Andrea Walczak. This one is called Snow Queen, and it's not a 32 count. She thought maybe Zweigert. This is Nora, and this was done by Jen Hooper. It's on an even weave, looks like a printed fabric, and it's a great frame that she's got it in. It really does complement it so well. And Jen's Instagram is My Unreliable Muse. Jen Hooper also did Thanksgiving Fairy, and this is on a linen. She's got it framed with this lovely spray of ornamentation on top, fall flowers. And another one from Jen, this is Art Nouveau Dragon. Great matte with the yellow matting with the fabric. It really pulls out all the colors on this one. I think this is a Patreon piece that Nora did. It's on a 32 count Awakening linen from Bestitch Me. And one more by Jen. This is Thistle, and this is on even weave fabric. And this is from the Nora Corbett Poison Pixies collection. And then this one is called Seaside Kingdom, another out of print one, another one that was available on the raffle. And this is by Chris Wathen, and it's a 32 count Belfast linen that she did it on. And I think she's got a brand new Instagram. I don't think she's been on here for that long. She is TX Beech, Beech. And Chris Wathen also did a couple of very cute Pond Lily and Water Sprite fairies. Here they are here. This is on Verdigris Fabrics by Stephanie. And so they match. It's an opalescent. It's a very pretty fabric. This one is Pond Lily. And here we have Water Sprite. Here we have Minerva. She is by Erin Clow, and it is on Forbidden Fiber Co. Fabric of the Month. And she is Stitching Nurse on Instagram. She's also the one that did the mermaid in the porthole that gave me the idea for copying her to do that. Now this one's got a little surprise ending. This is Mediterranean Mermaid, done by Denise Kirby. And yes, that is Flounder from The Little Mermaid. She's also changed the hair color to make her look like Ariel. Her Instagram is Pause for Stitching, PAWSFOR Stitching, and she dyed the fabric herself. And Denise and Erin, our mother and daughter, they kindly handed out to everybody in the room those little mascara wands, the clean ones, to clean off the spare threads after you've been frogging something. It was a very generous gift for those guys. I had some fun talking to them as well. And one that I love as the traveling stocking stitcher, I always love to see people doing stockings, especially for ones that aren't designed as stockings. This one Denise Kirby did, it's Moonlight Lugana stocking, and she did a great job on this one. Actually, Nora picked this up and caught her eye when she was doing the Q&A, and so she was excited to see somebody had done this as well. And we'll transition right over to another piece by Denise. This is Enchanted Mermaid that she did. It's on a 28 count hand-dyed Lugana. And I don't know how you decide which mermaid you're going to stitch, because Nora has so many beautiful, beautiful mermaids that it's impossible to pick one. And this is definitely a lovely bejeweled one. And this is Miss Ladybug, done by Melissa Wilson on a 28 count Lugana. Her Instagram is Tony Miss Will 8, TonyMisWil, and the number 8. And as you'll see here, this got a second place red ribbon in the Georgia National Fair. So congratulations, Melissa, on that. Another one by Melissa Wilson is Portrait of Lauren in Blue, and this was done on 28 count opal linen. And next up we have an amazing collection of items from Elena Vaser. Her Instagram is called Stitching Farmer, because I believe she is a pharmacist. So it is spelled Pharmer, Stitching Farmer. This is the letter V of Letters from Nora. And Elena stitches not only a lot of Mirabilia, but also a lot of chatelaines. She was at the chatelaine retreat as well. Here is her Scorpio. This is part of the Zodiac Girls collection, and she stitched this on a 32 count Country French Cafe Mocha linen. And here is Elena's Luna. Luna is from the Bewitching Pixies collection from Nora Corbett. Here we have Elena's White Clover. This is the Berry Collector, and this one is from the Black Forest Pixies collection that Nora has, and this was also done by Elena. And she also did a Roses of Provence. This is Lady Orchid Moth by Elena, and this is just really beautiful fabric. It wasn't labeled, and I saw this on her Instagram post, but couldn't identify the fabric from that either. And here we have Elena's Lady Cat, and this is on a 32 count linen, and it's Jade Dragon by Fiberlicious. And Elena did Mermaid of Atlantis. This is on a Fiberlicious fabric as well, and it's called Teal I Come Home. Get it? Elena did Sunrise Laguna Mermaid. Not sure of the fabric on this one. And this beauty is also by Elena. This is Siren and the Shipwreck. I was not able to identify the fabric that it's on. And this chandelier she's holding, not sure what it is, but boy, it's really beautiful. I'll get a real close-up look here for you. And here's another version of Florentina that we had on the brag table. This one is Elena's version. We have a few more mermaids by Elena. This is Renaissance Mermaid, and this was from an Under the Seas fabric of the month, but she wasn't sure exactly which fabric the name of the fabric was. And this is the final one by Elena. This is Mediterranean Mermaid. And we saw one of these before with flounder on it. And this one has the called for, I always thought it was a fish, but now that I look at it closely, it looks like it's one of those containers like amphora. I think the orientation on this is horizontal, but when I was filming it, this is how it was on the table. If I were framing it and putting it on my wall, I might think about having her diving into the deep like this. So I guess it could go either way. Or I could have it turned around and have her going up to the surface. This is Queen Mariposa. It was done by Elizabeth Broniak, and it was on a called for 32 count desert sand linen. And I gotta say, I just loved everything about this piece. It was such an eye catcher. The frame is fantastic. She did an excellent job on that. I think she said it was a thrift store frame. And the fabric looks incredible. She just pops right on off of there. And then all these little butterflies. She is Queen Mariposa, and Mariposa means butterfly in Spanish. Kay Warren did a version of the kiss that was just the couple. She didn't include the planters on either side. She did include the guy, but not the background. She did this on a 28 count silk weaver solo even weave. And Kay's Instagram is Extreme Mom 24. Kay just has an enormous collection of finished Mirabilias and finished chatelaines, and she does some beautiful, beautiful work. Kay also did Cottage Garden Fairy. This is an out-of-print one, and this is on the called for 32 count chestnut linen, and that is by Witchelt. And Kay has some beautiful framed pieces. I misidentified some of the ones that she had on the chatelaine table, but the framing that she has done is by Native Borders Unlimited Framing. Dina Hansen is the person that's there, and they are in Merritt Island, Florida. So if you're looking for somebody that does really incredible framing, you might want to check them out, because Kay's got a number of pieces, and you can see the detail. It's got the little cottage up in the corner, and then there's another detail in the far right corner. Just incredible work. Here we have Mermaids in the Deep Blue Sea. This is also by Kay. It's on a 28 count silk weaver solo even weave, and it does have the same fantastic framing that was done by Native Borders Unlimited. Beautiful seaweed cutout. And like I said, when I did the Chatelaine Retreat Brag Table video, I just made the assumption that the framing was done by Rensel Studios, because it seemed to have a lot of the same characteristics. But luckily Kay provided the framing information this time around, so that I was able to get that corrected. So thank you, Kay, for sharing that information, because I'm sure a lot of people will be interested to know that. Here's another one of the Zodiac Girls. This one is Taurus, and this was done by Brenda Kendrick. It's on a 32 count. It's from the Victorian Motto Shop on Etsy. And here we have September Sapphire. This is from Jennifer Beelman, and she did it on a 32 count Illusion from Mystic Fabrics. Jennifer's Instagram is backcountry_stitcher, and her floss tube is backcountry stitcher. And she is a premier veterinarian who's has very interesting stories about the cases that she's seen. And this is a piece, when you see it in person, you see how beautiful the colors are, the vibrant chartreuse and the beautiful blues, the deep blues and the bright blues. Really a very lovely piece. This is a very sweet piece called Giggles in the Snow that Jennifer Beelman did. It's done on a 32 count white linen. And this is one that during the Q&A session with Nora Corbett, she was asked about, things that remind her of certain periods of her life, and this might have been one that she was looking at. I couldn't quite see from my angle, but there were a few pieces that were there that she talked about when her children were little. And I thought at first she was talking about Seaside Kingdom with the two kids making a sandcastle, but this was also nearby of these two little kids making snow angels, and another very sweet piece. This is called Twisted Mermaids, and this was done by Sadie Garita. This was done on the called for 32 count Waterlily linen from Witchelt. And I ran into Sadie down at the Stitch and Kitten. They generously open specifically for us at the retreat on Sunday. So the retreat ends on Saturday, and then if you're available to get down there, it's about an hour and a half away in Irmo, South Carolina, which is near Columbia, just over the border between and South Carolina. And so a number of us go down there. They have a great selection of fabrics and charts and just all kinds of things. They had a trunk show going on while we were there. I posted some pictures on Instagram at the Queen City Stitch Retreat account of their shop and what all the variety of things they have there. So I encourage you to take a look at them. They're very helpful, and you can order online from them. I would highly recommend, if you do not have a local needlework shop, check out the Stitch and Kitten, and they're great people. They have free shipping on orders over $75, and we just really, really appreciate them. Here's another piece by Sadie. This is called Art Deco Tree, and this was done on a fantastic Atomic Ranch fabric. Another detail I just realized while I was editing this is, look at that cool deer head right in the middle of the tree. I believe this chart is from Nora's Patreon. And here's a great piece where Sadie took the Zodiac Girl fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, and put them all on this incredible piece of fabric. It's called Fire Dancer by Fiberlicious. First one on the top there was Sagittarius. One on the bottom left is Aries. And over to the right is Leo. Sadie's Instagram is sadie.raq.gm, and she's got a fantastic floss tube. She did a recap of the retreat that you'd want to check out for sure. It's sa.rita91. And Sadie talks in her video about the retreat, about her trip to the Stitch and Kitten and the things that she found there. And she also shouted out my channel, so I really appreciate that. And anytime anybody shouts me out, I make sure that I include their video in my playlist of shoutouts. So in appreciation for what they've done, I want you to be able to easily get to their channel and see their videos. So look for the link for the playlist at the end of my video here. If you've done a video about the Queen City Stitch Retreat, be sure to tag Kitschy Whips on your video, and Maggie will pick it up and put it on her playlist on her channel so that people can see all the videos that were done for the retreat. And here's that popular one, Halloween Fairy. This one was done by Corey Adams, and it's on a 32 count fabric. And she doesn't have a floss tube or an Instagram, but she did say she just discovered floss tube, so you never know. And this is a sweet little piece called Gathering Eggs, and this is also by Corey. This is another one by Corey. This one is called Miss Colombian Nymphalid. And this is Corey's Ebenora. It's a lovely silhouette, very simple but elegant. And Corey also did Christmas Elf Fairy as a stocking. And this was done on a 32 count, and then she added the applique trees and some brooches and did the name in glitter across the top. And we'll get a close-in look at the detail of the little fairy here. And next we have a group of things that were submitted to the crag table by Melanie Rowe. This is Christmas ornaments, and this was done on Silk Weaver Solo Linen. Melanie is in the enviable position of being a Mirabilia model stitcher, a test stitcher, and she did a great Q&A for us at the retreat and told us all about her experience and what it is that she does and how she got the job. And so we really appreciate that. We'll be putting that video up for you to see probably on our Facebook page, so take a look for that. Here is her geranium, and this is on Pole Stitch's Carnival Queen Opal Lugana. Just a gorgeous, gorgeous fabric. And you can take a closer look here. And believe it or not, this is the 117th finish of Nora's designs that Melanie has done. And again, this was what people were stitching as our stitch along for the retreat. There's a number of people that had them as whips going. And Katie tonight provided a conversion of 4 different conversion colors for geranium. I don't know if I got any pictures of anybody who was doing something else. I know people have done some. This is Fairy Spring Fling, and it is on SMF Sugared Ambrosia Lugana. Another great piece. This is just called Deer, and I think it might be a Patreon piece. It's on Lakeside Needlecraft. She thought maybe it's a Picture This Plus meditation. And just a simple, sweet deer face. And you can just look at this deer and you know that it was done by Nora Corbett, can't you? You know. And this is so pretty. This is Silver Moon Tea, and Melanie did it on Colors of the Outback Rosy Glow Lugana. And just a pretty, pretty, pretty piece, paired with the most perfect fabric for it. It's just really lovely. And I should also mention that Melanie has an Instagram account, and it is Melanie Rowe 2930. This is Melanie's Fairy Summer Love, and this was done on Shimmering Meadow Twilight Linen. It's such a great ombre fabric that just picks up every color that's in the piece. It's really gorgeous, gorgeous fabric choice. Here we have Winter Bear. This she did on Silk Weaver Solo Linen, and just an adorable little piece. Little polar bear standing on his ice floe. And I love the details that Nora did with the bugle beads, mimicking the edges of the ice floe. This is also done on Silk Weaver Solo Linen, and it is Snow Queen that Melanie Rowe did. And this fabric is just inspired. This is called Ship's Manor Orphan, and Melanie did this Indian Ocean Mermaid on it. It just looks terrific. Here is Fairy Autumn Glow by Melanie, and this is on an SMF Moon Princess linen. I hope I got everything was out there. You know, things keep showing up on the brag table over and over. I did notice watching a video by Kelly, who is Pages and Stitches, Pages 3 Stitches on Flosstube, and I saw some things that she had on her Flosstube from the brag table that I did not capture. So if you want to see some additional stuff, go over and watch her video as well. And this is Fairy Winter Dream. This is a Silk Weaver Solo Opal Linen by Melanie. And the last piece we have by Melanie is Arezzo, and I think this piece, I don't know that it's available either. I think it was a special thing that was done, and it's hard to get your hands on. This is on SMF Petals Linen. Stacy Muth did this Raven Queen in 32 count gray, and Stacy's Instagram is Gamestagirl, Gamestagirl. Betsy Soto has this version of Stargazer that she did. It's on a gorgeous 32 count Twilight Blue linen by Witchelt. And Betsy's Instagram is REVBETS_stitches, Rev Bets Stitches. Kirsten Stanley hand dyed her own fabric. This is an 18 count Aida that she did, and it is violet, and it's signed by Nora. And this is called Angel Proclamation. It was done by Melissa Shell, and it got little cherubs doing the little happy dance, throwing the flower petals around. Here's a couple of great fully finished pieces from Melissa Ellis, and this is Anna. And even though the piece doesn't fit in the frame, I love what she did. She put some sort of material or paper or something behind there, and it fits in there great. And just a really creative use, because you can't always get things to fit into a certain frame, so this is a great alternative. I love this idea. And this is a picture of this plus fabric. Melissa's Instagram is MLELLIS83, MLEllis. And then we'll pan over to her other one. This is Electra. And this is just a fantastic one, especially on the purple. The orange and purple is an incredible combination. And this one is Picture This Plus also. And again, seeing that frame behind, with it's got the pattern on the frame itself, really lovely job of finishing. Because it almost looks like she, took the same fabric and put it on the outside and the inside of the frame, so it mimics that. So really love that detail. I might have to ask her how she did that. Although it's probably paper rather than fabric that she used, and maybe Mod Podged it on. I don't know. And the intensity of this circle, this orange circle on the dress, is just, it's really an astounding effect. I just love this piece. And this is Lilith of Labrador, and this one was done by Sharon Bishop. And Sharon's Instagram is stitchin_kitchen, and I will spell it for her because it's not the way you think. It is STITCHEN_KITCHN. And she also has a floss tube by that same name. This one is Miss Honeybee, but unfortunately I can't tell you anything more than that. I don't know who it was by or what the fabric is. And I believe this is a bumblebee, a freebie that is available on the Mirabilia website. And didn't have a name, didn't have the fabric identified. It was sort of near Melanie Rose stuff, so I'm not quite sure if anybody knows what it is. Drop a note in the comments if you do. I've got a few more unidentified pieces. This one is Blossom Urn. I'm not sure who did it, but I'm noticing some initials there. It looks like maybe SB, so I'm thinking Sharon Bishop possibly, since some of her other stuff was near this. Just a quick shout out to everybody who did identify all of their materials on the table. That made my job so much easier. I know Maggie put out a call for people in the Facebook group to make sure that you have your things identified so that we could give you credit. And I wanted to make sure that people knew who did what, and it would have been a really onerous thing to have to look these all up and try to figure out who did what. So if I didn't get it right or I missed something that was done by you, please feel free to tag yourself below down in the comments. Another mystery stitcher item. This is Aries, one of the Zodiac girls. And here we have Fairy Winter Dream. Melanie Rowe had one of these earlier, and this is by somebody else, but I don't know who. And this is Fairy Summer Love, probably by the same person that did the last one. And this is Tree of Hope. I did try to do an Instagram search to find these, but could not definitively track it down. So again, if you know, please let us know in the comments. I do know that this was done by Jen Weibel, and this is Mermaids of the Deep Blue. It's really, really pretty fabric. And she said that she modified the hair colors to match she and her daughter's hair. Next, we have a treasure trove of amazing work by the prolific Ann Kim. First up, this is Pisces of the Zodiac Girls. Unfortunately, I don't have any of the fabrics because they are fantastic. Her Instagram is capital X S underscore Perger, Perger. And here we transition between two of the zodiacs from the Pisces one that she did to Aquarius. And Anne's things were just piled up at the end of the table. Um, the table was not long ago, but it ran end to end along the wall. We couldn't cover the fire exits, so unfortunately some of the things just got put in a big stack. And I hope everybody had a chance to go look at them. If not, here they are, because I certainly did go through the pile more than once. I know people were hesitant to go through and touch things, but boy, it was really a lovely pile of things to look through. We're all stitchers. We all know the rules. Make sure your hands are clean. And at one point, I had gone into the restroom and noticed they were out of paper towels. By the time I got up to the front desk to inform them, they said they'd been reported several times. I told them I suspected that the incidence rate of hand washing in a group of stitchers is significantly higher than the normal clientele. Here we have Scorpio. This is another of Anne's, and it is another of the Zodiac Girls. And since I don't have a lot of details, I'm just going to put some music under this, and I will just pop in with the names of the pieces. These are all Anne's for the next several. And this is Anne's version of Aries. And Anne also did Miss Forest Mushroom. Here is Anne's version of South Atlantic Mermaid. And the companion piece, this is North Atlantic Mermaid by Anne. And Anne did Sultana's Rose. And here is the Dreamer, and this fabric is just absolutely unbelievable. The Dreamer is an out-of-print one as well. Here we have Anne's version of Princess Eliana. Anne did an Aphrodite. And this is Anne's version of the Kiss. This is the one done as designed. We've seen examples where there was a different head. We've seen examples where there wasn't the background done, but this is the full version of it here. And this is Queen Mermaid, done by Anne. And just like Anne, we've seen several people that had stacks of things they did, and we know that there probably were several in attendance that weren't able to bring things because they had them framed and they were traveling and weren't able to bring in their things. So this is actually probably just a fraction of what exists out there amongst this talented community. And you can't choose a more exciting fabric than this red that Anne has used for Persephone. It's unbelievable how much this pops. That's a pomegranate in her hand. I had to look up what Persephone's story is. Apparently Hades tricked her into eating a few pomegranate seeds, and that bound her to the underworld for a portion of the year. And knowing that information, it makes it even a more inspired choice to choose this dramatic color, a pomegranate color, I guess you'd call it. And while we're talking about fantastic fabric choices, this is Mermaids of the Deep Blue. And they're on this printed fabric, and they're reaching up toward the surface of the ocean. You can see the sunlight coming down and streaming down on them. And they've got all kinds of things printed on here. There's a treasure chest, and there's starfish, and there's a turtle floating around, and little fish. So it really is incredible how this piece works on this. Here's Anne's Venetian Opulence. It's in this really amazing opalescent fabric. Excellent choice. And Anne did Renaissance Mermaid. And this is Rogue Dragon. This was a Patreon item, and we've seen, I think, 3 of these on the brag table. This one is Sea Merchant's Wife by Anne. Here we have Florentina. Another favorite of everyone, this one is Villa Mirabilia, and it is another out-of-print one. But just look at that dress. This one is called Bluebeard's Princess by Anne. And this is Enchanted Mermaid by Anne. And one of very, very few male designs. This is Archangel. And this mermaid is waiting for ships, and it is an incredible fabric. It almost looks like a marble. And I mentioned that Mindy Daigle was a vendor at the retreat, and she had all kinds of Mirabilia charts and embellishment packs available for sale. And she had on her booth a number of items pinned up, so we'll take a look at those now. This one is Bluebird's Princess, and they were covered in plastic to protect them, so we do get a little glare there. This one is called Lovebirds. And here we have Lavender Mist. This is Moon Glow. This is Holly. Here we have Blossom Goddess. And I saw this one done as a mini Mira at the state fair, and it was only about 6 inches long. It was amazing. And finally we have Stone Roses by Mindy. And I think there's no better way to wrap up our brag table review with none other than Large Marge, the official mascot of the Queen City Stitch Retreat. This was a rescue that Maggie did of a Mirabilia that was on 11 count. I did capture the origin story that Maggie related to us on video, and so I will be putting together the legend of Large Marge, coming soon to a social media platform near you.
Thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate you coming along and looking at the brag table with me because I could look at it all day long. So I think I might watch that video myself a number of times just to relive the experience and see the fantastic things there, see the choices that people made on fabric, or just makes a huge difference to see it in person. So glad I was able to bring that to you if you weren't able to attend. And next year, the Queen City Stitch Retreat in October will be a Teresa Wensler themed retreat. Teresa won't be able to make it herself, but she's very excited about the idea of it. And so if you're interested in Teresa Wensler stitching, I highly recommend you check that out. Go to the Queen City Stitch Retreat.com website and learn all about it. So thanks for joining me. I hope to see you again next time. Bye.